All right. There's sirens. Welcome to my first YouTube live stream. My name is Nyla, and I am a learning experience designer. I design adult learning experiences for the digital space. You can learn more about me by watching the other videos on this channel. So today I'm going to do a live build. I am going to wait for some more people to come in because I started early. But that's because I am using the OBS system for the first time, and I just wanted to make sure that it was going to work. So it looks like it's working, and I will just wait for some people to come into the room. While we're waiting, we can listen to some tunes. But what I'm going to do today is I am going to build. Let me pull up those tunes right now. I am going to do a live build of the new eLearning Heroes challenge. So if you're new to learning and development, eLearning Heroes is a community by Articulate, and Articulate is an authoring tool company. So authoring tools are what you build your e-learning in. So there's all different kinds of companies. Articulate is just one company out of many, but it is probably the most popular and one that you'll see in most job descriptions asking that you know how to use this tool. So I think it's fun to build in Storyline. I really enjoy it. I just haven't done it in a very long time because I no longer work in it in the current position that I'm in. And, 2020 happened and lots of things changed. But today, my nonprofit organization, DESIGNxHUMANITY, hosted a workshop on Storyline. And it got me kind of missing playing around with it. So today I want to kind of do a live demo. Doing one of the eLearning Heroes challenges. So while we wait, we'll just listen to some tunes as people come into the room, if they decide to come in, and then we'll get started. Let me get all of this figured out. Hope you guys are finding the silver linings in this year. I know, to be completely honest, this has been an awful year for me, trying to remain positive, but it is hard. And I think that is important to acknowledge sometimes. Like, being positive is great, but there's also power in acknowledging when you're struggling. And so if you're out there and you feel like you see other people succeeding this year and you're wondering, why you don't feel that way. First of all, this is a traumatic year for everyone. We're in a pandemic, and no matter what you believe, the trauma of this year is very real. So I just want to let people know, whatever you're feeling is very valid. All right, let me drop the link for this in a few places so people know. Okay. So I just, started using OBS today to live stream on YouTube. And so I had to start a new link. So I've got to drop this link in a few places to let people know. All right, let's see. Do a quick post there and on Twitter. So how many of you actually use, like what social media do people use? I don't know. For my career stuff, I mostly am on LinkedIn, and I see a lot of people on Twitter. All right, let's see. So, like I said, I'm using something called OBS, and it's my first time, so just bear with me. We'll see. It's kind of tricky because I'm managing like a lot of different windows, but we shall see. And I was gonna play a little music. If the music is too loud, then I will turn it down. Yeah. Hi, Elena. Yeah, OBS is I get the point. It's like necessary for streaming on YouTube, but it's kind of tricky. Alright, I think I put the link in as many places as possible. So to get started, I'll show you what the latest challenge is for eLearning Heroes, kind of show you what that looks like, and then I'll get into the build. I have not built something from scratch since August, so I'm definitely going to be rusty. It's very much if you don't use it, you lose it when it comes to storyline, so you definitely want to use it. I got my notification on my phone that I'm live, so I hope everyone that's subscribed to me on YouTube got theirs. But this is the first time I've ever gone live on YouTube, so I don't expect like a ton of people to come into this room. I'm just going to drop it in Slack. And then we will be Gucci. Alright, so let's talk about this latest challenge. Let's see what it is. So I've been checking out, I have not even been like really going on the website in a while because I just can't manage that. But today I set aside time for this workshop and I'm like, let me check out what they're doing on here. And they've had some pretty cool challenges in the last few weeks. I'm sad I missed out on it. Again, if this is your first time even seeing eLearning Heroes, this is a community for people who are interested in e-learning development using Articulate Storyline. So Articulate 360 is a cloud-based product. It's actually a suite of products. So when you get that authoring tool, you also get something called Articulate Rise and a few other products. Storyline is just one of those products. So I hear some people just calling Storyline Articulate, but Articulate is the company and then Storyline is the product that I will be working in today. And then eLearning Heroes is a community, one of the best online support communities that I've ever seen because of the content they generate, the community building they have, and the amount of tutorials that they have here. The reason I'm a big advocate of these storyline challenges is because it forces you to try new things based on what the challenge is, right? Or just to practice what you already know. Today, I'm just going to practice what I already know because I won't have time to like try to learn something new. Sometimes it could take me a week to get something right. So I'm just going to do what I remember here. So we're working on challenge 305. So there's 305 of these. You don't have to start from 1 or from 305. You can dive in wherever you want to just get started. If you're a beginner, I would look for something that's kind of simpler to do, but kind of gets you confident in your e-learning development. So this one is already closed, I think. Yeah. So there's probably going to be a new one, but a new challenge coming tomorrow. But this one was interactive cooking classes, recipes, and techniques. Let's go to the actual challenge. So that was the recap, but this is the actual challenge. So in these posts, they show you what the challenge of the week is. They give you some suggested topic. Sometimes they even show you like an example of what you can build because sometimes they reuse topics. But I just really like it also because it is great to get your name out there and then also see what other people are building. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I didn't pre-plan this. I just decided to do this like 2 hours ago. I also don't really cook, so there's that. But let's take a look at some of the other examples, like what people submitted. So Jody is the challenge like leader. She has submitted the most so far for this year, I guess. So you'll always see her in the comment section. So let's look at her demo. Press play. Okay, so it looks like she's done like it's not a video. I thought it would more people would do like a how-to video. She looks like she's using illustration. Yeah. So, you know, what I like about Jody is that she has to get these out pretty quickly because she's busy. She's got her job, but she's very committed to submitting them. So she will make something that's simple but still looks really polished and is still interactive enough and also is engaging. So I really think that's a skill to be able to keep things simple and still engaging. And a lot of times when people are new to the challenges, I know when I was new, I was trying to like really do all this hard stuff each challenge and I would never finish in time to submit. And that's because I was doing too much. So it's like a real skill to be able to simplify and still create something that is cool to use. So let's see. Let's check out another one. This is Kimberly. Let's see what she made. So I always do this first because I'm trying to get an idea of what to create or how to create it. So I'd like to see what other people have done. Inspiration. And to see what kind of like interactions people are using. So Kimberly has video in hers. And some music. And then she's also got a tab interaction here. This is pretty cool that when you click on this, it kind of pokes out. I like that. She's using the web widget to embed some YouTube videos here. So yeah, this is pretty, it looks sophisticated enough, but I know I can figure out in my head how she did each one of these interactions. I think this is a motion path. I'm not 100% sure how she executed this interaction here with the knife, but that's another idea. I'm like, okay, I could do video and tabs. So that's some more inspiration. Let's look at one more. Well, let's see. There's some people who I like to always view. Okay, Jonathan Hill is the eLearning Heroes reigning champion. Like, he submitted something every day for a year. So let's see what he did. He did a perfect soft-boiled egg. Let me see. Some people are messaging me. I think they're trying to get into the live. Let's see. Okay. So he always has some sort of fancy animation. And I'm like, when do you have time to create? And I'm pretty sure he creates them themselves, because where else would you find this? So he says, pick a small saucepan filled with enough water to cover the egg by at least 1 centimeter. And here is a little drag and drop interaction he's got me doing that revealed another layer. And then there's a dial. So I turn the dial to 1. Well, it's like an egg timer. Oh, okay. I see. And then I turn the egg timer. Oh, this is a pretty sophisticated one, because this is moving on its own. Down from 6 to 1. Cool. I'm not going to do any of that today. But let's see if he posts. He didn't post a blog post about it, but you could totally ask him. See, somebody asked him a question. So Jonathan says that all of these animations were transparent GIFs from Giphy. So he did make them. He found these all. Wow. See, I learned that. So that's how he's able to put these together quickly. Let's look at Sam's, because another person I really admire the kind of things he submits. This is Pizza Palooza by Samuel Apata. Let's see what we're about to do here. So he usually does something that's gamified. So I'm excited. This is always impressed. This is so cool. So this looks like, okay, click on these. So I choose which toppings I want, I guess. So the reason I know that is, like, there's something called affordances that let the user know if they're supposed to click something or drag it. And that's something that's, like, because we're digital natives or have used computers before, we know some of these things innately, but not always. But I figure, like, I either need to drag or click these because of the movement. So I'm going to click on it. Okay, now this has tomatoes. Add this. Let's just add everything. I think that's pepperoni. I would not eat all these things, but another affordance is I know I already picked these because, oh, I didn't put cheese or sauce. There we go. I like the use of sound. That's cool. Now it's in the oven. And there's my pizza. So cool. I would have liked a little more direction on what to do, but I figured it out. And there's definitely some value in being able to figure it out too. All right, so I got some inspiration. I'm still not 100% sure what I'm going to do when I go into there. But I'm going to start by just doing some basic storyline stuff, and then maybe you guys can give me some ideas in the chat about what to do or what you would do, and then I'll see if I could build it. Let's see if you are saying anything. Oh, I missed a lot. Yeah. So Helena said, you probably can see the OBS. Helena said that she's rusty too. Yeah, so I'm not going to build anything complex today because I don't know. Sorry if the sound was loud, you guys. Who made the pizza game was Samuel Apata. Apata. I would follow him on Twitter if you want to. And definitely connect with him on LinkedIn. Let him know I sent you. So Helena says baked mac and cheese. That's a good idea. Hey, Mark. I'm here because of Mark, because Mark got me wanting to build something. So we just took a look at some of the eLearning Hero challenges. If you're just coming into the room, I'll type his name in the chat too, if you want to follow him. So the last thing I built, actually, let me show you the last one I built if you haven't seen it yet. It also has sound. Turn it down if you need to, or I think I can turn it down. Okay, let's see. Again, thank you everyone bearing with me as I use OBS for the first time. I'm glad it worked though. I figured it all out. In between when I announced this 2 hours ago and now is me installing OBS and figuring out how to stream stuff. So I'm proud of myself for getting this done because I had never used it before. Okay, so this was the last challenge I did, and I just want to show it to you, and I can show you the file as well that I use, the storyline file, so you can see the behind the scenes. Actually, why don't I just do that? But I just made this. I think the challenge was to make something that compared learners' answers to an expert's recommendation. So let's see. Actually, I don't know if it's on this computer. So let's just look at this. Let's look at the demo here. I'm sorry if it's loud. So some mistakes I made on this demo. I did custom navigation, and I didn't, at first I thought I wanted it to kind of be forced navigation, and now every time I view it, I'm like, dang, I wish I could skip this part, but I can't. So I want to put this in my portfolio, but before I do that, I need to update a few things, including the navigation and the narration, which is terrible. So let's take a look. On behalf of the Institute for Relational Research during COVID-19, I welcome you to this survey. This isn't your typical survey. We're conducting research looking at the effects of COVID-19 and quarantine on relationships. Everyone's in cramped quarters, I wish I could skip this, but I can't because I didn't.
There's a lot to manage in terms of the practicalities of life.
Anytime
those come together,
what I do like about
perfect
what I
storm for
created
people to be
here,
at odds about it. But
I
conflict
don't
is
know.
not
Well, first of all, it was
necessarily
fun.
a
This was at
bad
the
thing.
beginning of COVID.
Every couple is
So,
going to argue.
I
What
wasn't
matters is how you fight and how those
over it
negative
as I am now.
interactions balance out with positive interactions.
But I used some PowerPoint techniques as well at the beginning. If you saw that kind of cinematic intro, I used a tutorial from PowerPoint to help me do that and just replicated it in Storyline. So that's another tip I have. Look at some advanced PowerPoint if you're not advanced in PowerPoint already. Also look at advanced PowerPoint tutorials on YouTube because you'll get some ideas about how you can use animation to also make your course visually appealing. So this one, remember I said it's about comparing your response to an expert's response. So this one was about relational conflict. And so first they learn about the 4 causes of conflict, and then they answer a quick poll question about whether the person is eager or scared dealing with COVID conflict. So I'm going to say I'm eager. And then a scenario is presented. So the scenario is that your partner is extremely concerned about your upcoming plans to attend a socially distanced gathering in the park. You've assured them that it's a small group meeting outside and that everyone will be wearing masks. Your partner is growing increasingly worried and frustrated with your choice to break quarantine. How do you respond? And then you can say, And then they would compare your response with dealing with COVID conflict, the Gottman response, which is, Gottman is like a well-known relationship counselor. So that was the last one I did. I used, also Troy Ashman has a tutorial on how to do a full screen. So I used that. And then I also used that PowerPoint design technique I mentioned before. So yeah, you can check that out if you want to. But let's get into the build. So are there any suggestions for what I should do? Also, just so you know, this is on a 20-second delay. So if it takes me, I'm a little bit ahead of y'all. Just keep that in mind. Video capture device. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I've been learning a little bit about Gottman. I followed them on Instagram. It's been really helpful during quarantine, in particular, when you're so in close quarters with loved ones and dealing with other stuff. So definitely check out the Gottmans. There are a lot of people, like counselors, there's a Gottman technique for like relational counseling. So check them out. Really good subject matter as well if you need a demo piece. Did anyone have any ideas for what I should build? I remember baked macaroni and cheese. So, I don't know. Let's see. First, I'm just going to set up my my canvas here. So I like to do 960 by 540. I just got in the habit of doing that because of work. But it gives your canvas gets more room. You just got to ask, like, is it a 16 by 9 ratio or, you know, wherever you end up, you need to ask, like, what dimensions they prefer using. So again, if you're new, I just went into story size and then I chose custom and I unlocked the aspect ratio to change the width and height, and then I locked it back. And that's how I got this type of 16 by 9 ratio. Oh, a Thanksgiving theme. Oh, okay. Helena has so many good ideas. Ice cream sundae, Thanksgiving. I definitely have never cooked my own Thanksgiving meal. In my 33 years, I have managed to always be fed by someone else. And I know my day is coming. I know it is. And it's like, it's going to be the worst meal those people ever had. I'm a lot of things, but a cook is not one. So I'm the kind of person, I really like photorealism. So I tend to use photos more than illustration in my courses. And I also like white space. So I kind of like how Jody used those icons. So let's see. Let me get some photo inspiration and see. So I'll go ahead. I have 360. So I'll go ahead and see what photos I can get inspiration from. So let's see. Let's try, let's see what turkey photos they have. Oh, it's the country turkey. Okay. Okay, that's funny. I don't know how to filter for this. Food? Oh, that's funny. Thanksgiving. Okay, let's do pumpkin pie. Again, this is like a live build. I don't know what's going to happen. This might change. We're just going to see what happens. Okay. So now I need to do some research and look up an easy pumpkin pie recipe. Easiest ever pumpkin pie. Still takes 3 hours to make. Yeah, I'm on my other screen, but I wasn't gonna, I'm just Googling pumpkin pie, so, but I'll drop the link to the one I decide to use. Easy pumpkin pie. All right. 35 minutes. That's my kind of easy. So here's the link to the recipe I'm going to use if anybody wants to make easy pumpkin pie. So now I got to kind of figure out what kind of interactions I want to use. And sometimes when I do this and I want to do a demo of different features but not like fully build it out, what I'm thinking right now is I will actually try to find a picture with a more complete like Thanksgiving meal setting. So with a turkey, with a pumpkin pie, so that the user can choose what they want to learn to make. But I won't build out all those parts. I'll just show in the demo that they can choose all of the, like from one of those things on the table to create. So I really need to look for a different picture. Before I move on, for people who are newer, I just want to go over again my canvas here. So there are 2 views. This is your, actually also in the chat, can you all tell me if you're beginners or if you're more intermediate, because I won't spend too much time on this. But this is your story view. This means that I can see all the slides that I need to at one time. And then when I have more than one slide, I can group them by scenes. People always ask me, why do you need scenes? And I can't always give it's just for organization, really. And sometimes you may want to use them in a branching scenario. So if they choose one answer, they would go to one scene. And if they choose another answer, they go to a different scene. So that organization is really helpful. When you want to add a scene, you just click New Scene. And then wherever you see this red flag, that's the first scene the user is going to come to when they open up the course or whatever you're calling it. And then you double click this, and then I'm in the scene now with the slides, just like PowerPoint. So down here is my timeline. It looks like we have some beginner, mostly intermediate, so I'll do the quick overview. I'll be here a while. You guys can come in and come out as you need to. So now I'm where I'm actually going to build things on the individual slide. And so when I want to manipulate things on this individual slide, I am going to employ all these different components at certain points. What's really important is to understand how to use your timeline to control when things appear and disappear from your slide. Next, down here, like this whole bottom section is really important to having control over the manipulation of the objects on your slide. So the timeline is how I move things around. So this photo is right here. And if I was a really great e-learning developer, I would immediately label this, but I'm not going to. Next is states. So if you were in the workshop earlier, remember Mark was going over different states like hover states and down states and all of that. This is where you can create that. So if I wanted this picture to do something different when the user interacts with it, I can do that through a state change. And then notes are usually for like speaker notes, but this is also a really great section if you're doing any kind of, what is the word? Text to speech. There we go. So people have their own opinions about text to speech. I'm going to let you in on a secret. We used it all the time at my last job, like for published courses, all the time. People hated it, but it gets used sometimes. So that's how you would do that down here. And then these are my slide layers. So that's another difference, I think, from PowerPoint. I'm not a PowerPoint expert. I don't think they have layers in PowerPoint. But if you want multiple things to happen on one slide, this is another way that you can make that happen. And then over here are my triggers, another way to make things happen on your slide. And then up here is your typical ribbon with all of the tools, formats, animations that you want to do on this specific slide. So that's a quick overview. So I think right now I'm going to search really quickly for another picture. I'm going to use unsplash.com instead. I actually think that they use Unsplash pictures. Like, I think there's an Unsplash integration or something in this, but I know you can't see my screen, but now then you'll be surprised what picture I choose. So I need a Thanksgiving dinner table setting. Oh, there's so many good ones. Oh, okay, found a good one. So the size is going to be a problem. Let's try it out. If you decide to use Unsplash, you should try to credit the photographer as much as possible. And you can do that at the end of your course or on the individual slide. I think that's the best picture. Also, this is a true like live build, so there's going to be some lulls. It's not as fast paced, and I'll probably be here for a while. Just keep that in mind. But you guys get to see my process. Okay, let's try this picture. So remember I said I was going to try to do an interaction where they can choose different things on the slide. So this picture is tricky because of the dimensions, but we can make it work. Good old crop. So I'm going to just see what that looks like real fast. Okay, I just need to move it over. Also, that reminded me that I need to go in and kind of decide what I want my player to look like. So that I think this is something people sometimes forget to customize, and it can really have an effect on what your overall course looks like. So for this one, I don't think I need a course player because I'm going to do navigation based on the slide. That may change, but let's just say cook a holiday dinner. Avoid the politics. Actually, that's probably not going to show up because I think I'm going to get rid of the player. Okay, so for now I have no player. Again, that's just a preference. Okay, that's good enough. This has no turkey, but that's fine. It's just a holiday meal. All right. So now I have to decide how do I want to do this? How do I want to intro? How do I want them to be introduced to this for the first time? Well, maybe I will do that cinematic intro again that I did in the last one. So if you want to see what that, I'll drop the link to that here. So that's a PowerPoint tutorial about how to make a cinematic intro. So maybe I will do that. I want a new blank slide. And let's see if I can find a video. If not, then we may not do this. So these are just like standard videos that they have here. And I can see like some that people used in other courses. Let's see. In other demos. If I can't find what I want for free, then I'm not going to worry about it. But I like to really stick them with the intro. Let's see. Maybe I'll just use one of these chopping. Okay, so I'm going to do this cinematic intro with this video here. Now I've got to try to remember how I did it in the other one. So I'm just creating these to be like my two black cinematic bars. Now they like did math in this tutorial video about how to do this. I'm going to see if I can remember what I did. Okay. I'm actually going to go ahead and look at mine again so I can remember what the animation looked like. Okay. So in the one I did before, you see the video first, and then these two bars come in, these two cinematic bars come in and there's like a filter across the screen and then the title. So I think I can remember how to do that by memory. I'm going to go here and just make these black so it looks more cinematic. Okay, so these come in a few seconds after the video, one after another, kind of staggered. So I'm going to come down here to my timeline. So there are things that I want these two bars to do, and then there's going to be different elements I'm putting on the page that I want to come in at different times. So I'm going to stagger these boxes. So this one is number 1. I'm going to say this is the top, and this is the bottom. And I'm going to switch. So you can also move things around, like position where they are on the slide. So that's a good tip to know. So this order matters. It matters for if things are on top of each other when they're coming into the screen. If you need things to disappear or make sure that they're visible, you want to check the order here. And then I manipulate where they are on the timeline by dragging them back and forth. So if I don't want something to come in until 5 seconds of the slide timeline, I need to move the start of the object to 5 seconds. So these come in a little bit after each other. So I want the top one to come in first and then the second. And then I have to remember if this is a simple animation or a motion path. So let's see if I can do the fly in from the top. And then and now I have to also tell it how long it should take to complete this animation. So these are all little details, but they just make things look, they're a little fun, a little flourish. So I did this, but I don't remember. Let's see. Okay, that was that's a perfectly fine effect. I kind of want to move where the video is framed, so the hands are more in. Oh, can't really do that. I forgot. So I can also hide things temporarily on my screen by clicking the Show Hide. I don't want to spend too much time on that detail. I can fix that later. I also want some sound. So this doesn't, Artica Storyline comes with video and photos if you have the 360 Cloud subscription, but it doesn't come with sound, I don't think. So I go to a website called freesound.org. Let me double check. And it's just people collecting sounds themselves, like on their phone or recording it or whatever, and uploading it to this website. And I donate. So here's a link to freesound.org if you want to see that. So I want some music and then also maybe sounds of like chopping. So let's see if I can find that. And let you see what this website looks like. All right, so this is freesound.org. I do have an account. Let's see if I can remember it. So, is that it? Is that my account? Oh, uh-oh. Oh, no, that was it. Okay, weird. I am logged in. So I want some chopping sounds. Well, chopping vegetables, so let's see. Perfect. So I'm going to download that. So this is a WAV file, so that's fine. And then I also want some kitchen music. What's something you like to listen to when you're cooking? Am I still streaming? I think so. Sorry, guys. I have text. Okay. Let's see. Thank you. Pie makes me think of a cafe sounds. Should I do cafe or like? Let's just see. The very restaurant in Paris. Circus music, okay. I have to be really careful or I will spend an hour looking for the perfect song. And I don't need to do that right now. Okay. So I'm probably not going to find the music that I want here. Another place I like to go. Now, I wouldn't do this if you are creating something like for your work, but if it's for your portfolio or something fun, I like to use the YouTube audio library. This is like royalty-free music that they have for YouTube creators. You don't need to be a YouTube creator to use it. You just need a YouTube account. So this is a hack that I like to tell people. If you need some royalty-free music to use in your portfolio, you should go here. Yeah, a lot of companies do have their own library of music. I don't know if we did it at my last position, but I definitely like to try out new stuff. I don't know. Let me pick a song fast before I spend all day doing this. Because this is the fun part to me. I'm trying to create like a mood for the whole demo. So you can also filter by like the kind of mood. So I want something happy and bright, but maybe also calm. Let's see. I'm so sorry if that was loud. That's good enough. Okay, so yeah, YouTube and freesound.org. So I've got those. Let's see. So let's go back to Storyline. And I'm going to put these into here. So I'm going to go to Insert tab. And the first one is I'm going to insert audio from File. So I just downloaded these, and I can import both of them at the same time. So these are now on my timeline as well. If you want to do things like fade music in and fade music out, you might want to edit that on the outside of Storyline. You can do some audio editing in Storyline, but it's not that sophisticated. If you really wanted to do like a grand fade in and fade out, I wouldn't do it in here. But let's see. I've cheated the system though, and definitely done some copy pasting and volume manipulation to simulate a fade in and fade out effect. But if anyone knows how to do that in Storyline, please let me know, because I don't. So I am going to lower the volume on this just a little bit. And let's see if you can even really hear the chopping. Oh, okay, so one thing, I can't have them chop. I can't have chopping sounds before he actually starts chopping. So I've got to time that out. It's still too soon. There you go. That's good enough. It is not matching the pace that he's chopping, but for now that's good enough. And let's do one more effect. So this isn't exactly the cinematic effect I want, but I don't want to spend too much time on this. I mean, it doesn't matter. What does it matter? You guys just wanted to see what I actually do. And what I'm doing here is just creating like a filter for when my text comes in. I just want to put something over this. It's just going to be a little transparent. Why can't I think how to do this right now? Oh, okay. I'm having a brain fart. I forgot how to use Storyline moment. Okay, I need to format this shape. I need it to be kind of transparent. And I'm going to use a color from this. Okay, so I want this to kind of come in with the cinematic rectangles, and I need this to have an animation, so kind of a slow fade in. And I'm just changing the duration, and let's see what that looks like. And let's go ahead and turn. This doesn't need to be that long. So I'm cropping the audio because it just doesn't need to be this long. In fact, my whole slide doesn't need to be this long. So I'm going to crop the amount of audio I want, and then I'll go in and fix that later. But I just want to get the slide to be shorter. So slide length is also really important. You want to be able to control that, in my opinion. You can control it with your navigation and stuff, but there's certain times where you want a longer slide and certain times where you want it to end. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to automatically advance, but if you're somebody who likes to have a seek bar on your player, it's going to really be important that you control the timeline, the length of your timeline. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me know and I'll explain more. Okay, so let's just keep it at that for now. Okay, so this is a little too... So you're probably like, what is she doing? Why is she spending all her time on this? Like, I'm not doing anything like super advanced for this one interaction-wise, so I'm just trying to make it look visually interesting as well. Since I'm not doing any kind of like really advanced interactions, because I don't remember how to do anything, so I can at least make it look cool. What are you doing? Okay, I want this to be even shorter. Still cutting a little early. All right, so I'll fix those details later. I'm just going to add a title. I'm saying Holiday Chef Quick Start Guide for Dummies. Because I don't know how to cook. I am my audience. So I'll probably end up making a title in Canva or something later. Like a nicer looking title using some fun fonts. But for the sake of this, I'm just going to use something from here. And I'll have this come in a little bit after that. Animation. I kind of want this to grow, but the grow animation also looks silly a lot, so. Alright, that's fine for now. I'll make that look prettier later. So now I'm going to get into natural interaction. That's my intro slide. I'm going to have to figure out navigation a little later. Now I want to have them choose like something here, like click on it, and then it will open whatever they want to learn about. So I have to decide. There's different ways I can do that. I can do it with a hotspot or a button. I have to decide if I want to use a light box or whatever. So if you guys want to help me decide what I should do. Oh, I lost you guys. Oh yeah, Audacity is a good one. It does help you edit audio, and it's free. So what do you think I should do? Should I do I'm thinking I should do a hotspot. I've also done transparent buttons. Sometimes it just depends like what you need out of the interaction. So let's start first with a hotspot. But I'm like, how do they know once they've picked it? Okay. I'm going to do, oops. I am going to try something. So I want to make little cutouts. Okay, I want to make let's crop this. I want to crop to a circle. So I just opened up this picture in PowerPoint. PowerPoint's actually a pretty good photo editor, like image manipulator. I have Photoshop, but I'm just trying to do this real fast. My Photoshop skills are okay, but I'm just like I'm not fast in it. So when I need something done really quickly, I'll just go to here. Okay. There we go. I need to make this first. Let's make this smaller. So I'm just in PowerPoint right now trying to edit this. If you really want to see that, I can show you, but it may not work, so. So what I want to do is when they click on each, like the pie or the casserole, I kind of want it to stand out. So I'm just trying to create a little smaller version of these delicious foods. Let's save as a picture, or maybe let me copy. So you can copy and paste from PowerPoint into Storyline, but you can't go the other way. So how do I want to do this? So there's when they click this, what do I want to happen? So I think I want a state change here. So I'm going to edit states. I'm going to add a state. I'm going to add a hover state. And then what do I want it to look like when they hover over it? I want a little subtle drop shadow to appear, maybe. And can I change the picture of the color of the shadow? I can. What will show up? Okay, a little light red will show up. And I can change the size of the shadow. Okay. Do I want it to be red? Yes, I think that's the only thing that will show up. I don't want it to be too overt. Let's see what that looks like. I want it to do something else too. What can it do? So when I went to DevLearn, this is one thing that I've always like in the States. Sometimes I want the States to have animations. And when I went to DevLearn, somebody from Yukon Learning showed us how to put animations on your states, and I cannot remember what they said to do. So you're limited what you can do on a state. So maybe I want it to be slightly bigger on hover. It kind of works. That's good enough. And then maybe once it's visited, I don't really think it needs this though. Let's do a selected. Oh no, I forgot. Now I'm just gonna delete. I don't need a selected state. Okay, so that's just how different ways you can use states. So you can use states with a shape or with a photo. And then customize what you want it to look like and what you want it to do. If I find that tutorial for how you can add animations to individual shapes, I will share it somewhere. I'm just not sure where. Am I missing anything in the chat? I don't think so. All right. Oh, I just realized there's no... Oh, there is a pumpkin pie. I was like, that's the point of all of this. Okay. So I also need to cut out the pumpkin pie. I could probably do this in there, but... let's crop to shape. Smaller. So I'm just doing the same thing I did with the, I don't know what that is, macaroni and cheese casserole, something. And I'm doing that with the pumpkin pie. Okay, bye Irene. I'll put the replay up. Okay. Also, I'm going to lock my base photo so I don't accidentally move it around. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing for this. I'm going to edit my state and add a hover state. And I'm just going to add a drop shadow. Oops. And change the color to orange. Make it a little bigger. Oh, no, not that big. Okay. That's fine for now. Oh, I was going to make it bigger. Let's see how that looks. That's fine. Okay. And then ideally I would do this for all of those. I'm not going to do that right now. Choose a side. Okay, so when they click on one of the dishes, I want them to be able to see the information. So I have to decide how to display that. So either I'm going to do a layer or a light box, or I can have it jump to an entirely different slide. But it depends what I want to have on this slide. So where is my recipe? There is a video. So maybe I will use that. But there's also some really cool pictures. Okay. Okay, I think I'll do a layer. Intro. Pumpkin pie. So I actually really like how this looks, like when it's grayed out like this. I wish this was an option when you went to the layer. Like an automatic option. Okay, so when the user clicks on this, I want them to be able to go to this layer. So now I have to go to my trigger panel, and that's how I make this happen. So again, if you're a beginner, this is your trigger wizard. Triggers are a lesson of itself, so I suggest going to eLearning Heroes if you're trying to learn triggers. What I want them to do is jump to, or show layer rather, pumpkin pie. That's what I named it. When the user clicks, this is why you should label your photos or anything on your timeline rather, so you know what you're talking about. Now, if I wanted them to go in a certain order, I would put all sorts of conditions on this. Like they can only click on this if they've already clicked on the green bean casserole, macaroni and cheese, and in the order of the meal. And maybe I'll do that, but I won't do it right now. So now that should, I don't need to. Now let's test it. It didn't work. Oh, it didn't work because I don't have anything on that. Right? Show layer when the user clicks. So I probably need to put something on here to test it. So your layers have settings that you also want, they have properties that you also want to keep track of. So if something isn't working right, one thing in Storyline when you're new, you have to spend a lot of time working backwards to problem solve to see where something broke, because there's lots of different factors that are working together to create your slide or your interaction. So it's going to be really important that you go into your properties, that you understand your timeline. For when something breaks, you can start working backwards from wherever to decide, okay, this problem isn't in the triggers, it must be in the slide properties. Or it's not in the slide properties, it must be in my timeline. Or it's not in my timeline, maybe it's somewhere else. And you can try to troubleshoot that way. So when they click on this to go to pumpkin pie, what do I want the slide layer properties to be? So I do want to hide other slide layers. I do like to hide objects on the base layer and just rebuild each layer, even if it's... I do that sometimes, most of the time. Sometimes I let the base layer show, but again, these are just preferences. You have to think about how you're building. And then if you want it to automatically hide when you're finished, this is a good property to have. But if you want the user to control when the layer goes away, then you keep this unchecked. These are two properties, allow seeking and what happens when you revisit, that I used to ignore but are actually really important for your user. So sometimes you need to decide, do you want the user to, if they leave the layer and then come back to it, let's say there's narration or something, do you want them to start from the beginning, or do you need them to start where they left off? Like, these are all things you have to consider when you're building a course, which is why when people are like, can you make this little change? I'm like, this little change can affect so many little, choices, decisions. So always keep your slide properties in mind when you run into an issue that you're trying to solve, or if you're trying to really customize the experience for your user. A lot of times I've had narration on slides and I couldn't figure out why narration was playing over itself, or why it wasn't playing when I needed it to. And it had a lot to do with me not paying attention to my layer properties. So when revisiting, I'll just say reset to initial state for now. And I do want to pause the timeline of base layer. Another thing to keep in mind, if you have narration on each layer, you don't want those all to play at once. So you need to be careful that you're pausing the timeline of the base layer if you have it so that the user can click to go to a layer at any point in the timeline. I hope that made sense. Okay. So now I can see, like, they wouldn't see anything when I click on this, so I've got to decide what I want my layer slide to look like. So I think, I don't know. The fun part about not having a plan going into these eLearning Hero challenges is that it's just totally creative, but your build takes a little longer. It usually takes me about 2 days to build one of these, because I'll spend the first day just experimenting, and then I'll be like, oh, I should do this, this, and this, and then I can finish it up real fast. But I still don't really know what direction this is going in, so we shall see. So I think I'm going to turn this, I'm going to make this maybe, yep, black and white, and then I'm going to borrow that cutout I made, put that here. So I've got a nice little effect. This is highlighted. And then we're going to use, let's see if this works. Show layer pumpkin pie. Okay. Just little details. I want this to fade in quickly. Like in half a second. And then on this one, I don't want it to have a state. Okay. So click on this. Okay, actually do this to fade in a little fast, slower. All right. Just going to mess with this on the timeline a little. Oh, wrong thing. Just for how I want it to fade in. I'm not really sure why it's doing that flash thing between layers. I don't like that. I don't like it. Why is it doing that? I don't know. I feel like I've solved this issue before, but I don't know right now, so whatever. All right, so now what do I want to do? I think I want to include okay. I'm going to include a little interaction that's like shows the ingredients and then the prep time, like, you know, the recipe and everything, and then when they click on it they can see nutrition. So let's build that really quickly. Where's this end? Crop this so I know where the actual end of the slide is. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, how will I do this? I've got to figure out now how I want to build this interaction. So I want it when they click on it, it reveals. Okay, I think I know what I'm going to do. So at the top, I am going. So now I'm just going to use a series of shapes to help me build this out. And I want a color of, nope, wrong color. This is just an aesthetics thing now. Outline. And I want it to be a little thicker. If you see me looking over here, I'm looking at just the recipe thing for inspiration. So when I do these, it's like, it's fun to experiment. But I wouldn't, when would I build this into a course in a real situation? I mean, maybe for something, but no one's coming to work to take a course on this. Now, I've definitely built things for like independent, like online course creators to put into, I've definitely created things that they could, in Storyline, that they could drop into their online course. So I could do that. I think they're mowing my lawn right now, so sorry if you hear that. let's see. Let's put a little more weight on that. And I'm going to fill my shape with this color. Why aren't you working? Oh, okay. So, yeah, this will just be a little interaction that they can click and see the ingredients. So I probably am going to end up editing this down a little bit and then re-uploading it. But if you think I should just upload it as is, like you want to see the whole process, let me know. I'm just experimenting today. I really haven't been in the mood to do much with my YouTube channel or anything else lately. And I just got the urge today. So I thought, why not take it? Because I haven't really been up to doing much in terms of just like creative, like professional development. I think it's really important to do creative stuff, like just play around to become a better developer and just a better professional overall. So why don't I just copy and paste this? What am I doing? But yeah, guys, I have such a testimony for this year. It's been a very difficult year, like I think it has been for most people. And so I think that's part of why I usually am very candid and open about what's happening in my life professionally and privately. I'm not telling all my business, of course, but I believe in being transparent with people about, you know, why maybe you're not performing the way that you would like to live up to or things like that. And I haven't even had the energy to explain that. But I do think it's important that people understand if I'm quiet about what's going on, people fill in their own gaps and assume something else. So I just want to be open and honest with whoever's still in the room. If you don't know, like there was a very sudden death in my family. I call her my family because she's my best friend since I was 11 years old. Died in a car accident in July. And that has been such a deep and profound grief that I haven't experienced before. Not the first loved one to die, but I really wasn't expecting to lose her. You know, it's different than a grandparent who I know is getting older and I could prepare for. This was very sudden and like the worst thing that's happened to me, I think. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give myself a month to like chill. So I took time off and for that month, and then I was like, okay, I got to get back to work. I promised all these people all these things. I got to get back into it. Not realizing that a month to mourn a 22-year friendship and sisterhood is not enough. 11 months won't be enough. 11 years won't be enough. Because what I've really learned is that we don't understand grief. We all experience it. We all go through it. Grief belongs to each and every one of us because we all experience it. And yet I truly didn't understand what this level of grief was until July. And it's the kind that like rewires your brain. And so I have such a deep, profound understanding now on a different level than I did before about people that can't continue to function after the death of a loved one. And also people who do continue to function. I understand that. And so I say all that to say that some days I feel okay and back to normal. And then some weeks I feel like I need to hide from the world for the rest of my life. And that's been really hard. And it's an odd place to be because she's my best friend. And so I call her my family because I grew up with her, and I had some things going on in my family. And so her family adopted me and shared themselves with me and shared their family with me. So she is my sister. And it's just been really hard. And so like today I felt like I could get back into things, and maybe a semblance of my old self could come back. But dealing with that death and then losing my job and some things going on with my family, like this has been a year of like profound, I think, growth, but also just like I also feel stalled. I can't always put it into words, but I just say all that to say that today I just got the urge to like dive back in and try to be creative again with work, because I do get joy from this. And I'm somebody, it took me a long time to really find something I enjoy doing work-wise, and I still grapple with that because I'm very much of the belief that you don't have to, your work does not have to be your passion. I don't believe that. I believe that it is perfectly okay to go to work for a paycheck and have your passion somewhere else. But I enjoy what I do also. I think it's fun and there's always something new to learn. So I miss enjoying that. So I'm glad for those of you who are hanging out with me, watching me ramble today. Like, it means a lot to me that you're here, more than you know, and that we all enjoy doing this weird thing, really, building weird things and an authoring tool. But it means a lot that you're all here and we can share in this, because it's like a semblance of what things used to be, and I miss that desperately. But anyway, what was I doing? I lost track of what I was doing. Thank you for the kind words that you're saying. And for everyone else that's lost a loved one or something that's impacted you in a way that you weren't ready for, I now know what that's like. And I think it's different for everyone. For some people, it is your grandparent. But for me, like, I just had I love my grandparents. And my grandmother died last year. But she was 97 years old, and I actually didn't get to see her as much as I would have liked because she lived in a different country. And I really, I should have been a better granddaughter. And so I had grief and like feelings around that. But this was different because I really thought I was going to grow old with Amy. And so now, like, it was 4 months on Thursday, and on Thursday I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything on Thursday. And so it's like still fresh, and I was like, how dare I assume I could just take a month off and get back to normal after 22 years, and thinking the same thing for her family and everyone else who's lost her. So I didn't mean to get that way right now, but it's real life. These are really things that are happening. So I need a little icon to go. I need it to look like that carrot icon. This will do. I really like that they have icons. When I didn't have 360, and this is kind of big. That's fine. So one thing that I've learned also, so this obviously would not be mobile friendly. I mean, let's even see what it looks like. Like, you could view it on mobile, but it's not. I've definitely built things with dimensions where it is mobile friendly, but this is not one of them. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Okay, I want this interaction, so when they click this, okay, so maybe I make it a state change, but I also want it to go away. Okay, so I want to group this, but I also want to cut it. So I think I have to make this a state. So now I'm going to make a custom state. So custom states you use when you want there to be a state change, but it's not already a built-in state change created by Storyline. So so I need two states. I need it to show the ingredients when they click the top, and then also show the nutrition. And hopefully that works. So this one, press paste. Don't know why that pasted white. Okay, here we go. So I want this to actually say show ingredients. And then this icon, I'm going to actually, I could turn this into a button, but I think I'm just going to put a large hotspot around it. So if they don't click exactly on the arrow, it'll still do the interaction. But I need, let's see, where's the middle? Here we go. Oh, another thing I forgot to show you guys is using the grid. How do you turn the grid on? So you can go to view. So remember in Mark's session, he was showing us like how to align things, make sure they're aligned. Another helpful for that is the ruler or the grid lines. Can help you make sure that everything is where you need it to be. So I'm actually going to keep that on. So now I know this is like the middle of the slide. And I can just line that up here. And then I'm just copy and paste that because I want the states. Now, I think I'm going to run into trouble for when I want these states to revert back to normal. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Show ingredients. What did I do? Show nutrition. What's happening here? All right. I'll fix that later. So I'm going to insert a hotspot. I'm actually almost done. Anything I do after this will be just cleaning everything up, but I have like the core of the interactions I'm going to do. So I'm going to have this interaction where they can see ingredients and nutrition, and then I'm just going to put in a widget with the video. And then we'll probably be done for this one. Nothing too extreme. And I'm going to clean up this interaction too. Nothing too extreme. So now I have to set up the trigger for this. So show... No, I want to change the state of this rectangle. Again, you should totally label all your pieces, or else don't be like me and not labeling. I want to change it to show ingredients when the user clicks hotspot 1. So they click here, and then they can see that. Okay, I know what I need to do. I've got to remember I was saying like something's off with this, and it's because I'm not, remember I said there was the flash and I didn't understand why. It's because when it transitions from the base layer to this layer, there's a moment where there's no picture in the background because I hid everything on the base layer. So I really need to, I need to have something there, and I want it to be in color. So let's see if that looks better. I gotta remember to take off the animation on this one. There we go. Details, I'm sorry. It's still, I think because I cropped it. Okay, hold on. Okay, maybe these will work now. Okay, it's almost there. So yeah, everything I do after I get like the main interaction done is going to be just to clean up everything, because it's sort of a mess right now, just to make everything look better. So okay, hold on, I've got to test this one more time. It's a mess. So maybe okay, now how do they close it once they're done? I should have done this with layers. I should have done a new slide and then done this with layers, because now I don't know how they close it when they're done. delete. So what I'm doing is I'm changing this to, for that interaction to work, I think it's better if when they click this, they jump to the next slide. So jump to next slide when the user clicks picture 5. And here's my reasoning for that. Now, I needed a way for them to toggle through these different options for the ingredients and the nutrition. And it's just easier if I do it by layer than with just a state change, because I need them to be able to go back and forth. And it's just easier to create triggers than for state changes, if that makes sense. So now I'm going to go in here and get rid of these states. First, I want to copy this. Okay, I'm not really sure. There we go. And then I'm going to delete this. Oops. And this can still be a hotspot. Actually, so I need them to show the ingredients layer as soon as the slide starts, since I don't know how to explain this. So since I originally had what's happening on this slide happening as a layer on this slide, I just need to change things a little bit. Now it's just easier for me to change the triggers than to redo this entire slide, but hopefully that works. So ingredients. Oh, you didn't paste. I knew it. I've got to redraw this. Here we go. Insert text box. There we go. And now, wait, how do you spell ingredients? I feel like I've been looking at the word too long, so now it looks weird. I'm having to do a lot of configuration here to make this happen the way I want it to happen. Okay. I want to, okay, for this one, I want to show layer ingredients when the user clicks hotspot 1. I hope this works. Am I not? Okay, now it's getting a little messy because I'm building as I go. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I broke out that slide because it wasn't going to do what I wanted it to do now with the change of state. So I created a separate, now it's going to be like a branching scenario. So when they click on these, they go to different recipes, right? So now they're jumping to this slide first. This is the pumpkin pie slide. I should probably write that somewhere. So to show ingredients, when they click this, it's going to show the layer ingredients with this here. And then when they want to see nutrition, it'll show nutrition. I've just got to do that. Okay, let's see what happened. I did want to do an animation. I'm going to group these together, and I just want this to do like a float in from a float down animation, but I want it to be kind of fast. Let's see. I've got to view the whole thing. When the timeline ends. Let's view this scene. This is why you need short timelines. So I've got to trim this because I want my timeline to be shorter. This seems good. Here we go. We'll jump to slide, next slide. That's good for now. Nope, this is why doing your own custom navigation is more trouble than it's worth sometimes. Jump to next slide when the timeline ends. On this slide, let's see. This scene, let's see if this will finally work. The cutting noises are still off. Alright, something's wrong with my triggers. So when they click this, these are jump to next slide. Oh, I know what it is. It needs to be show layer drop down. There we go. All right, I got to clean up a few things, but I hope you get the general idea. I'm going to wrap it up now. Been on here for 2 hours. My eyes hurt. But what I'm going to do next, to wrap it up and submit this, is I'm going to add a video of making it. Let's see. Can I? Let's see if it will let me share it from this site. Oh, I don't think it will. So I'll just find a different one. Find a YouTube video of someone making pumpkin pie. I like to find tutorials that are very short and to the point, unlike this one. Why were these all made 8 years ago? Easiest pumpkin pie ever. Is it? Oh, we don't want one where you use a real pumpkin. I like that video because let's just use this one. It's from Southern Living, so it's got to be good. So what I have to do after this is, actually, let me just duplicate this. Figure out how just all the triggers work together. But I think you get the gist of what I'm trying to do. So I did the cinematic intro. I'm making all of these hot spots for them to click. Then when they choose pumpkin pie, it goes to the pumpkin pie slide with all these layers that tell them different things. So I have to just create navigation to take them throughout these layers. And then I have to remember that they need to come back. This is our anchor slide. So they need to be able to come back to go to the next thing. So that's what I'll be finishing up probably tomorrow. And maybe I'll live stream that too. But I'm spent for now. But one last thing, I'll just show you how you can import a video. Oh no, these are, here we go. So you just say you want a video from, oh, I need the, how do I do this again? So I think YouTube gives you embed codes. Right, share, here we go. So YouTube will, if you go to the share button on YouTube and then click embed, you're just going to copy and paste the code that they give you there and paste it into here. And it's an iframe. Iframes are a good thing to learn about, especially if you end up doing any kind of custom coding for your course, because you can take iframes out of the coding in a site or something like that and put it somewhere else for HTML5. I think that's a good way to describe it. I hope that made sense. But yeah, this actual thing is the iframe. And then it should show the video. Unfortunately, I don't think it'll show you in preview. I think you have to publish it. Oh, my dog is starting to cry, so I think I gotta wrap this up. But anyway, stay tuned. I will show maybe an edited version of this so you can see the full build and see the end result. But who knows? We'll see. Thanks for everyone who joined me while we played around with Storyline again. Real basic build. If I do a more advanced one, I will try to stream that too. Thanks for joining me as I did my first OBS live stream. This is my first YouTube live stream. I haven't done this before. I appreciate everyone that joined me today. And those of you who also came to the workshop, that you just spent like 4 hours with me. So thank you. I guess that whole time we weren't on live. But I hope you have a great weekend and a great holiday. Mostly I just want everybody to rest. I think we all need it. Unplug. Don't log into anything. Just relax, watch movies. And I will see you on the other side. Bye.